During the time of Miniclip's heightened popularity, one notable thing about the brand was that its logo was just a simple orange M with a white border and a blue background. But past that, there was never a face or mascot of Miniclip. To be fair, a Flash Games hosted website might not really need one, but considering Miniclip made its own games as well, you'd think they'd have something. Well, the closest thing they ever had was Dr. Carter. For a short while, Miniclip published multiple popular games with Dr. Carter as a playable character. Dr. Carter is very clearly an Indiana Jones parody, mimicking the old-fashioned archaeological adventurer who's cool and wears a hat. He never had any lines or dialogue of any kind, but you got the idea of his character right away, and the 3 games he was featured in were pretty popular on Miniclip. The first Dr. Carter game was 2003's Crypt Raider, a Boulder Dash clone in which he needed to move blue orbs around to escape to the next level inside an ancient Egyptian tomb. I made another whole video in this series about that and other Boulder Dash ripoff games that you could watch to get a better idea, but this Boulder Dash clone in particular was pretty popular on Miniclip, which prompted Miniclip to use Dr. Carter again. In 2005, Miniclip teamed up with developer BM Genius Company to create the game Dr. Carter and the Wheels of Salvation. Each level involves you trapped in this weird volcanic pit thing with a bunch of spinning wheels of different sizes. You click to launch yourself in the general direction, and if you touch the wheels, you're magically stuck on them and spinning around with the wheel until you click and launch yourself in another direction yet again. You keep doing this, going from wheel to wheel while also collecting various floating dots worth some points until you get above the surface and escape the pit. However, lava is slowly rising from the cracks at the bottom of the pit, so if you're not able to escape, you'll die a horrible lava death. Now, this premise seems very silly, especially with the whole anti-gravity thing with the wheels, but to be honest, while there are many escape the impending disaster games, this one was a lot more unique. It also had some pretty epic music during gameplay, and some cool guitar for whenever you won a level. The third and final game with Dr. Carter was 2007's Dr. Carter and the Cave of Despair. This one is honestly my least favorite of the 3, being a much more normal escape the oncoming disaster side-scroller. This time you're using your not Indiana Jones handy whip to swing your way out of a cave, almost like you're Spider-Man or something. You click to crack your whip and hope you get a good junction to swing forward and not fall into the lava below. And of course there's a giant wave of lava stage left that is trying to catch up with you before you can exit the cave. I suppose since it does take a little bit more skill to figure out the best angles for using your whip, you might get more out of it, but to me I just didn't find it as fun as Wheels of Salvation. It also seemed out of the 3 games to have the worst overall graphics. Although I always like this random detail of a pair of sinister eyes and a dark tunnel inside the cave in the background. I know Flash games can have simple or cheap graphics, but for 2007 this wasn't amazing. Frankly, Crypt Raider had the best graphics of the bunch, and that came out 4 years before this one. The music is still pretty epic though, and you get sound bites of Dr. Carter panicking and getting injured by the lava, so hey, that's something. While Cave of Despair doesn't seem to have as many lingering fans as Crypt Raider, it was pretty popular at the time of release, being in Miniclip's top 10 list for a short while. Despite this, Dr. Carter was never featured in another game. I couldn't find anything explaining why. After all, these are just Flash games, but these games were ones I remembered just because of how rare at the time it was for there to be a character made for Flash games across multiple different Flash games. I did find one 2005 post from former Miniclip director of web development Binary Moon, mentioning briefly his time working on Wheels of Salvation and claiming that Dr. Carter was considered a Miniclip celebrity around the office. So maybe in another world, Dr. Carter could have continued in more games, at least until Miniclip removed most of its games in 2023. In any case, if for some reason you wanted to play these games, you can play them on the Flashpoint Archive or on flashmuseum.org. I know this is a short episode for Flash Fossils, but the next one's going to be a big one, so stay tuned.